So another year at the Cummings Center for Seniors Celebrity Sports Breakfast in honor, of course, and raising funds for the Cummings Center for Seniors. And we're doing it a little differently this year. We're doing a video and audio combined here, and happy to be with the co-chairs as always, Mike Wagen and Bram Naimer here. And we're once again at the Jardin Royal Mount, and the weather is a little cool, a little windy. We're clouded over, but it doesn't seem like there'll be any chance of precipitation. So that's the weather report so far. But we do have an overhang here, so we should be okay. Gentlemen, thank you both for joining us once again.
Thank you for having us, Mike.
Now, how does this year compare to last year and the year before in terms of guests, do you think, in terms of preparation? Is it just kind of same old, same old?
No, it's not same old. It's just we picked this date because of our guest of honor lives in Israel. And as you know, it's Father's Day and it's the F1. So it's a little bit more difficult this year with respect to a lot of the guests, but I'm sure it's going to be a great morning, and we have a lot of surprises in store.
So who have you been looking forward to seeing?
I'm looking forward to see Guy Carbonneau, Vincent Damphousse, some of the old Habs. Very exciting. It's always exciting to see them. It's, we're honoring the 30th anniversary of the Stanley Cup.
Stop coming.
It's what happens when you sit with the co-chairs. You get a lot of people coming over to shake hands and kiss the ring, right? So that's normally what happens. You have your sports personality of the year. You got your expo legend, the media personality of the year. It's always fun to see the response from the crowd for some of these things. I know this year we have JP Bertrand from TVA Sports who's going to help us with the introductions. JP's a acquaintance of mine, great guy. So it seems like every year we kind of get more diverse, more entrenched in the community. It becomes more of an overall Montreal thing as opposed to, let's just say, those who support the Cummings Center, right?
Well, the event is mainstream, but we have representation from the entire media, the English media, the French media, TV media, and we try to change some of the MCs from time to time, just to mix it up a little bit. So we're looking forward to JP this year. He's a rookie, and I'm sure he'll do a great job.
All right. Well, I see on the sponsorships here, we got Mike's Delmar International Cargo, or Delmar International's obviously part of it, and Bram and Union Lighting. So there's a lot of sponsors, a lot of businesses that in the community that sponsor the event. Could you talk to us about how important that is for this thing to even continue?
It's incredible that through the 19-year journey, we keep adding sponsors year over year from the community. But what's really gratifying is that they seem to stay with us year after year, and that's led to this event becoming much more substantial in terms of its fundraising capability and in terms of the audience and the affluency of the people in the room. So we're very pleased and we're very proud of that, and we're very grateful to all these 100, what has become almost 100 or more people that stay with us, like I said,
year after year.
Year after year.
Bram, what do you think this particular venue brings compared to what we used to be in the Gelbert Center at the Cummings building on Côte St. Catherine? This is a little more grandiose, I guess.
It's a lot grandiose, more grandiose. It's very nice, the pre-event that everybody can mingle and get together, where you can't do the same at the Cummings Center. However, the Cummings Center it's very nice to have it at the Cummings Center because that's what we're raising the funds for.
Yeah, that's true. All right, gentlemen, I'll let you mingle and do your work here this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Your time.
Yeah. All right. All right. We're at the Cummings Center for Senior Sports Celebrity Breakfast here, and we'll have more guests coming our way here this morning. The breakfast begins always at 9 a.m., and it's usually for a couple hours, unless our next guest gets on the stage, and then it outlasts an extra 10, 15 minutes extra due to the speeches and, what he tends to do up there. But we have from the Montreal Gazette, Herb Zurkowsky, who's also a committee member. And he's alluded when we would do this on TSN 690 in the morning for the pre-game essentially for a few years. We'd have Pat Hickey and Mitch Melnick and all the others, but for some reason, Herb would never join us. So very pleased to have Herb with us this morning. The audio will be, of course, on the Cummings Center website and YouTube and elsewhere. So thank you. And looking dapper this morning.
Not very often I get dressed up.
No.
But I knew I was going to see you, so.
All right. Well, I don't know if that's a reason for dressing up. But did you plan the bye week for the Alouettes to fit in here with this sports breakfast? Feels like it's a good.
I'm working on becoming the CFL commissioner, but I had nothing to do with the schedule. And if I did have anything to do with the schedule, I wouldn't have given them a bye week this early in the season after they won a game.
Yeah, could you please be the CFL commissioner? We could use a little more strength in that.
I'm working
seat.
on it.
Yes.
I'm working on it.
That's the retirement plan, right? Kind of go right into that seat. Alouettes, the week one, they get a win. Kind of ugly, maybe on offense, other than a couple of big plays. But I don't remember watching an Alouettes game where I was fascinated by the special teams. In other words, great kick and punt return, great coverage, great blocking, but they didn't change the coaching staff on special teams, right? So what changed for you?
Just one of those games. Chandler Worthy scored a touchdown. Of course, it was called back because of a penalty. Look, the thing you got to realize about special teams is most of the guys who are playing special teams, this is their window onto the field. They're not, the majority of them aren't starters on offense or defense, so they're chomping at the bit to get on the field.
Yeah, and for Fajardo in the post-game scrum, you asked if the coach and himself, if they were worried about the offensive line protection.
I don't think it was so much a question as it was a statement. Like you're not going to last the season, and he's not going to. If he's getting sacked 6 times a game, I guarantee you he is not going to last the season. And if he goes down, they're in trouble.
But he's got the personality to really handle the media, right? He seems to.
Well, we'll
very
find.
outgoing
He's outgoing. He likes to talk. And does he have I don't know his personality yet well enough.
Fair.
You get the true barometer of an athlete's personality when things start to go sour and they hit adversity. So we'll see how he reacts then. He didn't react very well last season in Regina when things started going poorly.
That's fair.
And as the quarterback, he's going to get too much praise and too much criticism.
The running game, everyone puts a lot of eggs in that basket because of the history of Stanback. But he kind of was just, how much was that the offensive line, and how much of that was him, do you think, in week one?
Well, probably a combination of both, I dare say. The offensive line certainly has to produce some holes for these guys, but once there's a hole, then their natural talent takes over. I don't want to say they were predictable, but they were running a lot on first down, not getting a lot of yardage, and then they were in second and long. So, no, he didn't have a typical William Stanback game, but again, it's one game. Let's not get too carried away yet.
Well, thank you for the time.
That's it?
That's it. We'll move you along. You got stuff to do. I get it. But thank you so much for joining me this morning. Herb Zurkowsky from the Montreal Gazette as the Sports Celebrity Breakfast in honor of the Cummings Center for Seniors will begin rather at 9 a.m. And so we're joined by JP Bertrand, one of the co-MCs for the beginning of this event. Long time no see. It's good to see you wear things other than a baseball uniform.
That's right. Sometimes that's right.
Yeah, from TVA Sports, of course. So how did you get roped into this?
It's all Expo related. I mean, it's because of you.
Yeah, I know.
It's because of you.
Kind of setting you up. I said to Mike, we need some youth here. We need some different folks, especially on the francophone side of things. And I thought you'd be a great fit for it.
Because we've met through baseball, right?
Yes,
I believe the first time we saw each other was in Cooperstown.
It might have been, maybe 2017 for Tim Raines.
It was Tim Raines' induction. Yeah. That's how we met, and this is how I got closer to Perry Hughes, like the main Expo guy in Montreal, and then a year later, maybe 2 years later, I started hosting Expo Fest with Perry, and brought me to all this.
Yeah, we brought a couple of back then in the Expos Fest. We brought a couple of Expos Nation, which was myself back then, and we brought a couple of buses down to see the
That's
Tim
right.
Raines
Yeah.
induction, and that was an incredible night. So there's a lot of folks that are here today. You know, you got the 93 Canadiens. You're around my age group, I think. And you have Dennis Martinez, former Expo. You have Jacqueline Simoneau, an Olympian. You have some other folks here as well. Mark Wagen from the Alouettes will be here, probably a couple of Alouettes. So who are you looking forward to seeing?
Well, I mean, Guy Carbonneau and Dennis Martinez are my two favorite guys. And that's the thing is because of my work as a reporter, I get to meet all these modern day athletes. But to me, I'm not impressed by these guys anymore because I'm looking at these guys with my adult eyes, right? But when I'm watching an athlete that I've been following through my children's eyes, my kids' eyes, it's so different. So I was born in 1981, so probably around your
3
age.
years younger than me.
Okay, there you go. So I mean, the '93 Stanley Cup is a major memory in my childhood. So Guy being the captain of that Stanley Cup winning edition is something special. And if for Dennis, I remember
Perfect game. You were 10.
perfect game. I remember exactly where I was. I was having a pitch and catch in my friend's backyard, and his father came out of the house and said, "Guys, you should come inside to watch the game because through 6 innings, he's pitching a perfect game." So I actually watched that game live from 6 to 7, 7 to 8, and of course the Grissom catch at center field at the end, and you probably listened to that game in English where the play-by-plays said something like
Dave Van Horn on TSN at the time.
El Presidente El Perfecto, but I was listening to the French out of it.
I was watching with my dad, and I remember the biggest thing I remember, which I hadn't seen much of, I think it was like 13 or something, was the other crowd was cheering for it to happen. They were in Dodger Stadium, and the crowd was hoping for a perfect game against them.
I'm not surprised because I believe when Dennis threw that perfect game, there were only 9 other perfect game recorded, if I'm not mistaken. So it's
it was a big deal.
you want to be a part of it. You want to see it live. So yeah.
Well, I think that this is something you'll come back to every year. You know, I'm on the committee as well, and it's been a pleasure to see how much the athletes, the former athletes, enjoy this. I know last year we had Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki here, and the kids that were here at the time were, with their parents, were just, in awe. And then you kind of think, well, that's how we would be for Guy Carbonneau. And I remember when I was a kid, and they practiced at the Dollard Civic Center in the late '80s. It was like Claude Lemieux and Eric Desjardins, all these guys just walking to their cars, and the kids say, "Hey, can I carry your bag?" And, and it's just, that's the power of sport, right?
And that was the proximity we had with our childhood hero when we were kids. I remember my dad had not season tickets, but access to tickets very close behind the visitors' bench at the Forum.
Oh, wow.
So if you had to leave the ice to get yourself a hot dog or go to the washroom, you literally had to walk behind the visitors' bench.
Wow.
Something that you wouldn't see anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
A different era, that's for sure.
Well, I'm going to let you get going here this morning.
All right.
JP
Thanks for having me.
From TVA Sports. Enjoy.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, there you go. So that was JP Bertrand as we continue on here with the Cummings Center for Seniors Celebrity Sports Breakfast, kind of a pregame show, which you're now probably watching on the Cummings Center website at some point. So we're joined now by Morty Minc from the Cummings Center.
Right.
And how many years have you been involved with this particular event?
Oh, it's
or
good.
At least attending it?
Attending it for at least 10 years.
Yeah.
And my involvement with the Cummings Foundation as the incoming president, I've been involved in the organization for at least 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And what do you look most forward to when you show up at this shit day?
Well, first of all, to renew old acquaintances.
Yep.
And just to see the smiles on everyone's faces. So it's just a happy event. And it's a great time to be here.
So why are you coming in as president?
Well, it's my commitment to first of all our community, our Jewish community, and of course to help those who are disadvantaged. It's always been my background and my belief that's what is one of our responsibilities, to help those who are in need, and of course also the wonderful programs that we have at the center itself. I mean, it's amazing. For example, have been taking a painting course.
Okay.
So
Okay.
As we get on it.
And we're not talking paint by numbers, right?
No,
This
this is watercolor painting.
Wow. Okay.
And it's
The mood, by the way, when you visit there, when you enter that center, is fantastic. It's people who are just so happy to be there, happy to participate in the activities.
well. Listen, I've never met more devoted, committed people, volunteers, people who work there to really the mission of the center, which is really not to leave anyone behind, to make sure that everyone has programs for everyone. And so this is a wonderful thing about our center.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you mingle and renew old acquaintances. And thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Thank you
All
for
right.
receiving me.
All right.
Okay.
So there you go. That was Morty Mintz from the Cummings Center for Seniors Foundation. Of course, he's the incoming president for VP. As we look to grab more people to stay involved here with our pregame show here on what will be a wonderful day. And certainly money raised will help these activities and these programs at this center. I see a kid wearing a Nick Suzuki jersey over there, anticipating the captain from the Montreal Canadiens showing up for a second straight year, showing his dedication to helping in the community, to supporting the various associations and foundations in the community, which is what you always want to see. So very excited about that. I see various volunteers running all over the place, trying to make things happen. Of course, you've got a silent auction and all these other things. And now we sit down with a young gentleman by the name of Yaniv Perets. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And first of all, congratulations on your hockey season and everything that happened this year. And to be somebody from the area, from the region, and to now be a part of what has become almost an iconic sports breakfast every year. About 19 years we've been doing it. How does it feel to be here?
Yeah, obviously super excited to be here, to meet so many different people. I mean, so many alumni, other top athletes, and so many people here. It's really a privilege to meet them and kind of introduce yourselves to them.
Now, last year we had Mr. Levi, the goaltender from college, joining us here on the pregame of the breakfast, and that was a lot of fun. And now we have you this year. First of all, congratulations with your contract with the Carolina Hurricanes. I mean, that is just unbelievable. So you have a great hockey season. When did you know that you had a few teams interested and that it would become maybe a reality for you?
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, but like during the year, I like to kind of quiet all the noise. I like to really just like focus on hockey. So it was really only when the season ended I realized, okay, like I gotta decide here. But I mean, for me, I'd take it like one day at a time, like focus on the hockey, because I know that like without focusing on that, like I mean, the contract and stuff like that wouldn't have been there if I didn't focus on the day-to-day work.
So what's the plan for the fall for you then?
I mean, just go to camp as prepared as I can and try to make the team. That's my goal, obviously. Just have a great summer, continue working hard, and show up to camp ready and hopefully make the Carolina Hurricanes.
What's the moment this year that was kind of put you in awe? Somebody you met somewhere where you had to be, or even during game you looked up and was there a moment where you went, holy crap, like this is really an amazing season for me?
I would say there's so many of those moments. It's been such a fun year. My whole experience at Winnipeg has just been amazing. I mean, so many of those moments have just been amazing. But I would have to pick definitely Frozen Four finals. I mean, the national anthem. You're trying to stay focused. You're dialed in, and I kind of just like took like a quick second. I looked around to the national anthem, and I was like wow, just like really took in like I still have the picture in my mind during the national anthem, versus Minnesota. Looking around, the stands are all full, and it was just like just such a beautiful experience, and it was amazing, honestly.
Is there anybody you want to highlight in terms of coach or mentor locally that helped you kind of get to college and, those rounds?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many people. I mean, the entire Lac St. Louis organization, all the goal coaches I've worked with, Marco Armando, Max Vaillancourt, and especially Marco Marciano. I'm working with him since I was 17 years old, and he's really helped take my game to the next level. And he's kind of helped me and worked together with me, worked really hard with me, and always kept pushing me. So I always appreciate that. And there's just so many, my family as well. Like, there's just so many people that, it really takes a village to really kind of get you where you want to be. And just so many people.
In terms of the Carolina Hurricanes organization, who have you spoken to? Do you have a chance to chat with Rod Brindamore or the GM? Or
well, I spoke to the GM. He obviously introduced himself, and I spoke with some staff member. I deal more with the goalie coaches since I'm a goalie, right? But it's just been super. It's been super welcoming. Everyone's just been super awesome. I'm super excited just to get there and just really start to get to work. They have a great culture there. Coach Brindamore believes in hard work and pushing yourself hard, and I feel like it's just really exciting. I'm really excited to go there and work hard, put my head down, and hopefully make the team.
Well, this is a good luck thing, right? Because Devin Levi was here last year. He went on to have a really good year. So I think it's going to be the same for you. Hopefully at the pro level, obviously a bit of a difference. Although he did make it there, of course, at the end of the year. So who are you most looking forward to seeing here this morning? Members of the '93 Habs, current Canadians that are expected to come here. You got potentially some Alouettes. You got former Expo pitcher Dennis Martinez, or is it just kind of people in the community?
I mean, there's so many amazing people here. It'd be hard just to say one. It's really
answer.
It's
already
really,
polished.
It's really hard just to say one, but I mean, I'm just here just to soak in the entire experience. There's so many talented individuals here and great people here. So I'm just gonna, hopefully try to meet everyone I can.
All right, I'm gonna let you go do that.
Oh,
breakfast starts in what do we say, about 35 minutes. So you can go enjoy yourself now. But thank you so much for spending the time with us.
Absolutely.
And congratulations on an amazing season.
Thank you very much. Thank
All right,
you.
there you go. That's Yaniv Perets, and now we're going to chat with our next guest here on what is our video podcast for the Cummings Center for Seniors Celebrity Sports Breakfast, as we renew acquaintances with Jacqueline Simoneau, who of course is an Olympian representing Canada in artistic swimming, and this is not your first time here, so welcome back.
Thank you.
Very cool, an RBC Olympian as well, or athlete. So what brings you back here?
Many things. I mean, first of all, just being here, surrounded by great people, fundraising for an amazing cause. Why not be here?
Yeah, no kidding. So you train out of where, Montreal or elsewhere?
So at the moment, the team trains out of Montreal at what's called the Institut National de Sport du Québec.
Okay. And in terms of the next kind of competitions, what do you have lined up? What are you focused on now?
So at the moment, I'm primarily focusing on school. In the past, training 40 to 60-hour weeks. It's a full-time job, and now my studies take up 40 to 60-hour weeks. And training
What year are you in?
I'm in my third year at the moment, so I'm getting into my internship year, externship next year. But I will be attending the Pan American Games, more as a support for all of the Canadian athletes that are going to be there qualifying for the Olympic Games. And hopefully we'll have some success for Team Canada.
So what's success for you?
Santiago, the Pan American Games for us, is actually a qualifying event for a lot of Olympic events. So for us, success is just having those events, those athletes just really going out there, leaving it all on the field to play, and hopefully that'll lead them to an Olympic qualification.
And in terms of coaching, have you worked with the same kind of group for many years, or do you have to, is there a lot of turnover, or how does that work?
There is quite a bit of turnover. I've been fortunate to be part of the last 2 Olympic quads, and a lot of different head coaches, next generation coming up. So you have to be willing to adapt to this new change, new people and working around you. But these are all life skills that you're able to use and after life, after sport.
So is your full-time studies or the career path that you're going to choose, is that something that would mean that you wouldn't go into coaching or anything like that?
At the moment, I like to do clinics. So this is more like a weekend or a week type thing. I was just in Vancouver last week. Before that, I was in South Africa helping out. So little blurbs of helping out countries or athletes who are super passionate about the sport. That's something that I truly love to do. So kind of just hopping in, sharing my knowledge with people who love what they do. And as a coaching, it's more of a full-time commitment. And I think I'm ready to focus more on a full-time on
I'm going to stop you. It's not coaching. It's not, the medical field or what. I remember that's something that you're interested in. It's going to be media. You're going to be in media. You're too polished not to be in media. Too big of a smile. Just that's where you're going to be. All right. Well, thank you, Jacqueline. It's so good to meet you in person and chatted with you a couple times.
Yes.
It's nice to meet you in person.
Likewise.
All right.
Thanks so much.
All right. Cummings Center for Seniors, the Celebrity Sports Breakfast, our video podcast for the Cummings website and elsewhere, and a veteran of one of these things, and a requirement that you speak with him is Mr. Pat Hickey, formerly, of course, of the Montreal Gazette and elsewhere. Pat, you're writing for another outlet as well. I recall seeing, but I'm very tired this morning, so my apologies. Where are you writing for currently?
I'm writing one column a week for the Gazette. I'm back there, one column a week for the Gazette.
Right.
And I'm also doing some work for the English Montreal School Board newsletter.
Right. That's right. Yes.
So I'm doing some
staying active in the community.
Staying active in the community and trying to keep busy.
Well, that's
trying to fill all those empty hours.
Well, that's what keeps you sharp and looking forward to every day is having something to focus on. So thank goodness you have that column for the readers.
Yeah.
I mean, not for you, for the readers. So what keeps you coming back every year to this thing?
Well, I think that I have a connection with the Jewish community. I consider myself the foremost Roman Catholic Zionist in the city. And I played basketball years ago for the YMHA. I played interclub tennis for the YMHA. I've got a lot of friends in the community. And any time, I can help out. I do regular visits to the Côte Saint-Luc Men's Club. I'm speaking to a group in Ballard on Tuesday night. And, the community's always been welcoming to me. And in return, I like to give something back, just the overall Montreal community and the Jewish community in particular, because, they've always been welcoming me. It's a good cause. Now, of course, I'm a senior. This is particularly important. Yep. It's, just being able to, to do things and it's a fun event. I get to see people I haven't seen in a few years. I'll be interested to see Pedro Martinez here today. I covered some Expo games when he was playing. I just talked to Vinny Damphousse earlier. Again, someone that I covered when he was playing. And so it's
you got a lot of colleagues here as well.
Yeah,
I see Michael Farber.
Michael Farber's here. Herb Zurkowsky is here.
Usually Stu Cowan as well.
Stu Cowan is unfortunately would be here, except he's at the Grand Prix today.
Yes.
And I understand Eric Engels is under the weather, won't be here, but it's sort of a homecoming, and there's people I know, Roy Solomon, who I played basketball with at the Y, so it's always good to come back and see people that that I see in some cases once a year.
Yeah, and we were chatting with Yaniv Perets just before. Big news, obviously, him signing with Carolina.
Yes.
Last year we had Devin Levi.
Devin Levi, what are the chances that, last year the two best goaltenders in NCAA hockey were Jewish kids from Ballard de Zormo.
Unbelievable.
It's just, what are the chances of that happening?
Well, for him, he praised the Lac St. Louis organization for getting him, off and running.
Well, the Lac St. Louis organization has done a fantastic job of exposing kids to the option of going to U.S. colleges.
Yeah.
Most of the midget AAA teams are they're in bed with the QMJHL. They steer the kids to the major junior league. But the West Island, Lac St. Louis, because they have a large percentage of English kids. So that makes it easier, and it's more difficult for a French kid to get to a U.S. college because of the language problems, because of the difference in the educational system.
Interesting, yeah.
And I think it's unfortunate. One of the one of the side effects of Bill 96, I think, is now the French kids aren't going to be allowed to go to English CJEPs. So you have
Which
a lot.
hurts them to get in. Yeah, I see
You
what
have
you're
you
saying,
have a
yeah.
lot of football players, for example, go to Champlain College in Lennoxville.
Right.
And
right.
and the people at Champlain are familiar with the NCAA rules. They facilitate these kids being able to make that move to the next level, and that's being taken away from them. So,
So let me ask you, how are you looking so slim? Is it less food in the press box? Less press box visits? Is that the
I don't. I wish I was looking slim. I do play tennis 3-4 times a week. I'm probably the only person in the city who's a member of 3 different tennis clubs.
Wow.
I'm a member of the Coach St. Luke Tennis Club, the Montreal West Tennis Club, and Moncton.
Wow.
So I play at least once a week at all 3 of the clubs, and so I try to play 3-4 times a week, and I usually come out of the summer lighter than I am coming out of the hockey season.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Pat, for spending a few minutes with us, and enjoy the morning.
It is my pleasure. Thank you.
All right. It's the Cummings Center for Seniors Sports Celebrity Breakfast this morning, as we have lots of fun guests that we'll have in additional video and podcast that we'll put up on the website a little later on. But folks like Nick Suzuki and Dennis Martinez, and of course members of the 93 Canadiens like Guy Carbonneau and others will be here this morning. Why don't we have from the sports editor from the Suburban join us here for a couple of moments as Mark Lidbetter will sit down with us. Mark, of course, covering sports in Montreal, a veteran of attending these breakfasts in the annual situation. So, Mark, what brings you back?
Well, always got to cover this event. It's a great fundraiser, and it's good to see everybody that does come in and join in because they're all committed to the community.
Yes. Now, who you want to see the most today?
Well, I want to talk with Dennis Martinez. Always good to have him in town.
Yep.
He's such a humble guy. He was at an autograph signing for charity last night, getting in for Perry G. And the first thing he does when he gets there is he thanks everybody for being there and taking part. So,
yes, very humble gentleman.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was nice, too, because one of your past guests you just had on here, Yaniv.
Yes.
Good lad. That's out of the Dollard Minor Hockey Association.
St. Louis,
I've covered him with the Lions. Refereed him growing up.
Story.
Amazing story. Undrafted, and here he is. He's signed with Carolina.
Incredible. Now, we're getting some pretty good weather today, which is good as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of the fun antics that we'll see on stage a little later. Thank you so much, Mark, for dropping in.
My pleasure. Good to see you, Matthew.
All right, good to see you as well. I think we're going to be joined by, hopefully in a second, the I think VP of Communications is her title, Chantal Machabee, formerly of RDS. She'll join us for a couple of minutes here on the video podcast that, of course, you're watching on the Cummings Center for Seniors website, but also on YouTube as well. Such a great cause. Lots of money to be raised this morning, I believe, for the programs, the activities, and so forth. And Ms. Machabee is taking a whole bunch of pictures here in the background. Someone who's been very visible in the community for many, many years. So we won't keep her very long, just a couple of minutes. But we're joined, of course, by the VP of Communications for the Montreal Canadiens. She'll be accepting an award today at the Cummings Center for Seniors Sports Celebrity Breakfast. And I had her on my radio show a couple of times in the past. So thank you so much for taking the time this morning.
My pleasure.
Now, this is not something you've attended in the past, but Nick Suzuki was here last year with Cole Caulfield. And it's something where the Canadiens have had a presence in the past. And it's an event that does a lot of good for seniors in the community. What was it, when you got that phone call that you would be honored here, what was your reaction?
I was very surprised. I was honored. And I started reading about the Sports Celebrity Breakfast. And j'étais émue, you know. So it's a real honor to be here, and everybody's so nice. And Vincent Damphousse is here also, and yes, and it's important for the Canadians to be here and to have a presence here because this is an important event. And I talked to everybody here, and they all have fans.
Well, you're a
That's
very
so fun.
recognizable face. Being in the media for decades, people know who you are. You have a great smile. You're always everybody wants to talk to you. So
Oh, thank you.
I know I've been hearing that a lot of people are excited to see Guy Carbonneau as well. Somebody who obviously has been in media, but he's been the coach, he's been the captain of the team, and for someone like me, obviously part of my childhood watching Guy Carbonneau. What is it like to now be involved, not just covering the team, but now be involved in the organization that is such a fabric of the city and the culture? It's a huge responsibility, isn't it?
It is, but it's amazing at the same time. I mean, I love covering the team for RDS. It was fun covering NHL, but being part of a team, it's like totally different. It's the same environment, but it's the adrenaline is up to here every day. But it's amazing because you get to work with legends like Guy Carbonneau and future legends like Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield and Caden Gooley and guys like that. And Jeff Gorton, can't use it. I work with Martin St. Louis every day.
Yes.
I mean, this is a tremendous honor for me. I used to interview him, and I was a fan of him because he was such a great hockey player. But he's a fantastic man, not only a hockey player, a fantastic man, a great coach. It's a privilege to work for the Montreal Canadiens.
And do you have a speech? Est-ce que tu vas être en français, en anglais?
I'll be interviewed by Pat Hickey.
Okay.
So
no speech.
No
just answer
speech.
some questions.
Yes. I prefer that.
Yeah, that's a little better.
Yeah.
That's a little better.
Less
But don't be afraid to also answer it in French. We need some. We have JP Bertrand doing some of the intros in français here, and some of the guests in the past have spoken in français. So I want to see it. I want to force these guys to have some français here as well.
I'll do it.
Yeah, but Pat's a former winner as well of the award. So it's nice to have that kind of legacy and lineage here. And I think it's the 19th year of this breakfast.
It is, yes.
And we've had guests here like GSP and Laurent Duvernay-Tardif and Tim Raines and Pedro Martinez and Felipe Alou. So there's been a lot of people who've meant so much in the community to people in the city to come here and spend the time. And it's the breakfast can be a little long sometimes, so we'll see how long people pay attention. So I think the Canadians are always early on, so you'll get all the focus. So,
Fantastic.
So thank you so much for your
my
time
pleasure.
this morning.
Thanks
and,
for having
have
me.
Fun.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, it's the Cummings Center for Seniors Sports Celebrity Breakfast, a podcast for the Cummings Center for Seniors website, and then of course on YouTube as well. I'm Matthew Rossar. My channel, Are You Game, is a podcast where we do some fun, in-depth commentary, some items. And we're waiting for one more guest here before I think we pull the plug this morning, and that would be Vincent Damphousse from formerly, of course, the Montreal Canadiens, and obviously active in media as well. Now I need to make sure I get him into the frame here. Yeah, we got him. And thank you, Jordan, for also for getting. So first of all, thank you so much for a couple of minutes of your time this morning, and certainly your former club in '93 was being honored today. Do you ever get tired of it? It's been decades, and people still continue to talk about that team.
No, I think we talk about it a bit more this year. It's been 30 years on June 9th. But no, you never get tired of it. I played 18 years in the league. It's my only cup, so obviously, to me, it was the ultimate season. I came back from Edmonton, traded to Montreal in '92 in August, and that year was just unbelievable. Came back home, wore the jersey, and at the end of the year, I had the Stanley Cup. So it was a great season.
And when you get together with some of the teammates, what's that dynamic like from there?
Well, I work with Benoit Brunet and Guy Carbonneau. I see them throughout the year with RDS, so we're we're good friends. Obviously, when you go through a Stanley Cup run and win the cup, you're brothers for bond. You have a bond like brothers, and it's for life. So I see Mr. Corey, who was our president, and Mr. Savard is going to be here, I understand. So we're having more events this year. We'll have a big one in November to commemorate the Stanley Cup and have everybody there, hopefully. And it's always fun to see each other. I cross paths with some of the guys once in a while, Kurt Muller sometimes. So, we'll remember that season maybe throughout the year, but this event is just
First time here at this event?
I think it's the first time. I know it's the 19th year.
Yeah.
But I was glad to be to say yes to the invite.
Yeah, we've had. I think last year they honored some older Canadians, like I think Frank Mahavlich or Pete Mahavlich rather this year last year, and some of the I think some players from the 70. I know it was the 72 the Summit Series. That's what they honored last year. So there were a couple of Habs from that team. Yvonne Cournoyer was there as well last year. Yeah, exactly. One of the things that it seems like the Canadiens have tried to do under the current leadership is have the former players around more with the current players. Is that something you've seen a little more the last couple of years than in previous?
Well, I have. Well, I was just named one of the ambassadors with Carbo, with Chris Nyland and Patrice Brisebois. So personally, I'm more involved with to be around the team. They do breakfast, lunch. Every year with the players that make the team, and they bring us in. We tell stories and talk and get introduced to the players so they understand what was there before them. I think that's important. It's a franchise with a lot of history, and if you're a kid, 18 years old, 19 years old, you come in from another country, you don't really understand it. So to have the guys around, it made an effect on me when I got to Montreal, and I saw Maurice Richard, Jean Beliveau around all the time, and Guy Lafleur, and so I think it's a way to show the actual players like that we're there to support them, but also that there's a long history.
Last question for you: where do you keep the ring, or is it in a secret place we don't?
Well, it's in my safe. I don't wear it much because it's big and heavy and shiny. I didn't even take it out for today. I should have, but it comes out once or twice a year.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you so much for being here. I'm also on the committee, so it's a pleasure to have you here, and enjoy yourself.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. That's Vincent Damphousse, of course, former Montreal Canadian. And we're just wrapping up our podcast here for the Cummings Center for Senior Sports Celebrity Breakfast as we get ready now to enjoy the show here live. But obviously, you're enjoying this after the fact online. So enjoy the videos that we'll continue to post here on behalf of the Cummings Center for Seniors. And thank you so much for the committee and the organizers for allowing me once again to participate.